And here is Season 2 from the greatest anthology horror TV show of all time, Tales from the Crypt. Season 1 was the shortest, Season 2 is the longest, with 18 episodes. This is a very highly regarded season. It's arguably the greatest season of the 7. I say arguably because in my opinion there's one other season that rivals it. But you could definitely make a case that Season 2 is the best season. There are some bangers in this one. Starts off with dead right. Demi Moore is told by a fortune teller that she's going to marry a man. He's going to inherit a fortune and then die soon right after. So she thinks she's going to basically inherit all this money from him. When she finds out who she's marrying, a big, disgusting, fat, repulsive slob. It doesn't work out too well for her. That's a great episode. I like how they started it off. They started Season 2 off with Demi, a strong episode. The next episode is The Switch with William Hickey. Arnold Schwarzenegger directed this one, basically about an old man who falls in love with this much, much younger woman, and he thinks what she wants is, a young man, so he spends all his money switching his body parts with a younger man, has a doctor basically turn him into a younger man for this woman so he can impress her and marry her, and it turns out she was just basically a gold digger the whole time, and he could have had her if he just admitted that he was rich. You have to see the episode yourself for it to make complete sense to you. Number 9 is Cutting Cards. Lance Henriksen kills it in this episode. I know pretty much, I know a lot of the episodes, but I know pretty much every line in this episode. It's a great episode about two high-stakes gamblers who play all kinds of games trying to prove that one is luckier than the other. They play Russian roulette. They end up playing shop poker. A great episode, really awesome episode. Number 10 is Till Death. A guy's trying to build a resort on this land that is a swamp, and he thinks he's ruined. But he meets this rich foreign woman, and he basically is trying to woo her so he can eventually use her money to fund his project. But she does not fancy him, so he goes and finds a voodoo priestess who lives nearby. The voodoo priestess gives him a love potion to give her. He gives her the potion, and she falls in love with him, but he gives her way, way too much, ends up killing her. She comes back from the dead. She's a rotting corpse in love with him forever and ever. That's a really, really cool episode. Number 11 is Three's a Crowd. Three's a Crowd is an awesome episode. Very high regarded. I love this episode so much. It has such a messed up ending. Husband and wife, they're on their anniversary. The husband's old best friend invites him. He's rich. He invites them out to his huge cabin in the woods, and he's going to give them the best anniversary weekend ever. It's all on him, but the husband, who basically is drinking from the moment he gets there, believes that this old friend of his and his wife are plotting basically to take off together. He thinks that his friend is banging his wife behind his back. The ending to this one is awesome. I absolutely love it. Three's a Crowd is awesome. The Thing from the Grave. It's a cool episode. Photographer Terry Hatcher. Lot of horror elements in this episode. That's the great thing about Tales from the Crypt is, even though it's mainly a horror anthology, it does go lighthearted sometimes and switches it up with suspense and drama, and that's one of the things that are really cool about it. That's a good episode. Not the best episode, not my favorite episode, but still a good episode. The next one is The Sacrifice, and I love the beginning and middle of this episode and the ending. They could have done so much better with the ending. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that. It's such a stupid ending. It ruins the episode. It would have been such an awesome episode. The next one is For Crying Out Loud. Basically, this entrepreneur rocker guy who holds all these concerts and bands at this building he owns, he basically raises $1 million for this Save the Amazon fund that he claims is the money's going there, but really he's trying to steal the money and take off. And his conscience comes alive in his head, and starts messing with him and talking to him and telling him he's not going to get away with it and all kinds of shit, basically driving this guy crazy. Really original episode, good episode, like it a lot. The next one, Four-Sided Triangle, superb episode. Young Patricia Arquette in this one. She plays a farmhand. She lives with an older couple. The husband is obsessed with her and won't leave her alone, always trying to touch up on her and basically trying to have sex with her. The wife suspects this, but he does it behind her back. Meanwhile, the girl, becomes obsessed with a scarecrow that is out in their cornfield or some kind of field or some kind of plantation field, but she becomes obsessed with the scarecrow, who she says she has a date with every night at midnight. She goes and talks to this thing and hugs him, and it's pretty crazy. And then the husband gets an idea. This one is awesome. Love the ending. The ending could go two ways. Such an awesome episode. Love it a lot. The next one is Ventriloquist Dummy. The Ventriloquist Dummy is a cool episode with Don Rickles and Bobcat Goldthwait. Really, some really cool scenes in this one. Some nice little bit of gore, some blood. I don't like to give away a lot of the episode, even though I end up doing it a lot of the times because it's just so hard to talk about without giving some details. But this is another awesome episode. I like it a lot. The next one is Judy, You're Not Yourself Today. Carol Kane and Francis Bay. Basically about a witch, an old witch who is apparently looking for a much younger woman. She has this magic necklace, and when the other person puts it on, the old woman can switch bodies with them, and she's trying to steal the body of this more beautiful, much younger woman. And the younger woman has a husband, and he gets involved, and this ain't the best episode. It's one of the weaker ones of season 2. The next one is Fitting Punishment. Fitting Punishment is a cool episode. That's the one about the mortician who his nephew comes to live with him, and how he treats him like garbage, and this guy's just messed up all around. It's definitely entertaining. It's a cool episode. Once again, not the best, but definitely a good episode. The next one is Corman's Calamity, and it's the one about a comic book artist who works for Tales from the Crypt, and a lot of the things that he ends up drawing, his monsters and his creatures, start coming alive in real life. This one's original. It's a cool episode. Like it a lot. Another winner. The next one, a lot of the people that were involved in making Tales from the Crypt say, if you're going to watch any episode from season 2, let it be this one. This one's Lower Berth. It is a period piece, takes place in 1910. This one shows how the Crypt Keeper came to be, who his parents are, a two-headed sideshow freak and a 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy named Myrna. This is a really cool episode. I like it a lot. The next one is Mute Witness to Murder. A lot of people like this episode a lot. I don't. I think it is original, but just the way it's executed, I never really liked it. A woman on her balcony sees a murder happen between a husband and wife, basically like across the courtyard or street or whatever. She sees it through a window, and it shocks her so much that she's unable to talk, and her husband finds her in this state, and he doesn't know what happened to her, and she can't tell him what happened, and it goes from there. Definitely not one of my favorites. I thought it was one of the weaker episodes. The next one is Television Terror. This one is an awesome episode. This is the haunted house episode, and the talk show host who brings his camera crew to this house where an old woman used to run, basically a boarding house where she would have old men come and live in, and she would kill them for their social security checks. And this camera crew comes in, and they're basically trying to find out if the story is real or what. But it's a cool episode with a great ending. Love television terror, very cool. The next one is My Brother's Keeper. This is the one about the Siamese brothers who are connected basically at the ass cheek. I love the makeup in this one. They did it so well. One of the brothers is an evil bastard, and the other one is a good guy who ends up meeting this woman, and the other brother tries to ruin it for him, and he ends up killing her. And I probably shouldn't have said that, but this is a cool episode too. Another original great episode, My Brother's Keeper. And then season 2 closes on an episode called The Secret, basically about a mysterious eccentric couple who adopts this boy from an orphanage, and it turns out that they're vampires, but he has a secret of his own, and his is better than theirs. It's a good episode to close on. Another winner. Season 2, like I said, is amazing. You can't go wrong with this. If there's a couple episodes that you don't end up liking, there probably isn't going to be more than that. Season 2 from Tales from the Crypt.